Welcome to Follow the Action. This is the hottest podcast show, whatever you want to call it, in the world today. Downloaded to 2,000 different cities, over 60 countries, all 50 states. We got a crazy, crazy election going on. One thing's not crazy. Our guys here, they just win. If you've been following our record the last couple of weeks, we have been on fire. Joey Odessa, 9-0 the last 2 weeks. NFL hitting at 70%. The coach winning the last 2 weeks as he always does. So let's get started. We got Jonathan Coach. We got Joey Odessa, the Philly Godfather, the college kids represented by Matt. And let's get started right away with the UFC this weekend and the man that's absolutely in fuego. That would be Joey Bagels, Mr. Joey Odessa. A couple of known names headlining this card. Joey, what do you got for us this week in the UFC?
Another Brazilian headliner. Last week we saw Anderson Silva probably retire. Uriah Hall stopped him. This week we got Thiago Santos going against Glover Teixeira. Now, Santos, you'll remember, Santos the only guy in MMA that's ever beat John Jones on the judges' scorecard. He lost a split decision. I didn't see the fight. I thought John Jones won the fight. Jones fights everybody close, so I don't make a lot out of that. But he did win 3 rounds to 2 on one of the judges' scorecards. So he's in against Glover Teixeira. Now, Teixeira, if you remember, he fought Anthony Smith, and everybody was betting this Anthony Smith because Anthony Smith, he's got double-digit losses. Just one of those guys that, you know, lion heart, they called him. And he went out against Teixeira, and he won the first round against Teixeira. And then Teixeira just started coming back and ended up knocking his teeth out. You remember Anthony Smith was actually talking at the corner of the cage. He's like, my teeth are out the corner, should have stopped the fight. They didn't. Referee eventually stopped it, I guess. But anyways, Santos is coming into this fight with the momentum of a loss against arguably the greatest fighter in mixed martial arts, not Khabib, but John Jones. Probably, you know, they're running neck and neck there. Anyways, Santos is about a little over 2-1 favorite against Teixeira. You know, Santos has got losses on his record. He's been stopped. Eric Spicely choked him out. He's knocked out by David Branch. He's been knocked out before and stopped all in the first round. But the thing with Teixeira, you know, the X and O, like Coach Bagels will do. Teixeira is generally not a quick starter. Kind of gets some momentum going, you know, and as guys gas, he'll come on stronger. But this Santos is super explosive. He's 36 years old. Teixeira's 41. We saw what happens to guys when they start getting up in their 40s, especially Brazilians. I mean, these Brazilians, I don't know where they get their births. Maybe they don't have birth certificates because they show, you know, they all seem old. They keep fighting way past the time when they might have hung up the gloves in the case of Anderson Silva. Anyway, I think that Thiago Santos wins this fight. And on the undercard, you know, decent undercard, couple more Brazilians. This Barcelos kid is going to win. I mean, look, it's easy for me to come on to say, bet this 2-1 favorite, bet this 3-1 favorite. You know, I'm not going to throw you on a dog if it's not going to win. There's a lot of live dogs on this card that, you know, they're live dogs, but they're live dogs that won't win. Barcelos against this Taha from Germany. Barcelos is going to smash this kid. Taha is going to come out, and what a physical specimen Taha is. Fought over in Ryzen before he came to the UFC. 1-1 he was over there. In fact, I think Barcelos might stop this Taha. And I could just go down this whole card and rattle off winners.
Give us another one. Give us another one. Wait, before you do that, what is up with you and the tree? You and the tree seem to be good buddies.
I get wood. You know, it's just I see that when I talk to the tree.
Don't say that again. Don't say that again.
I get wood when I talk to the tree. Okay?
You give wood. You give. I mean, maybe these days it don't matter. But
anyway, I get wood. Boom. Anyway. Ian Heinisch.
Awesome. That is great. On our 20th anniversary, we're going to play that clip over and over and over.
Okay. It's okay. Ian Heinisch fighting Brendan Allen. I like this Ian Heinisch. I like him. He's a guy I like to root for. This Ian Heinisch, interesting story. Colorado fighter. Okay, wrestled in Colorado, 2-time state champ. He came from money, wealthy family. Anyways, he went to college. He went to Northern Idaho. He went to college to wrestle and to party. And when he wasn't going to do that anymore, he decided he was going to go to Europe and smuggle, you know, drugs and import drugs. Went to Europe, went to Spain, got busted in the Canary. He did time in the Canary Islands. He did time in northern Spain. And then he got out. They sent him back to Rikers Island. He got shipped to Colorado. did nothing. You know, he worked out in the joint, got out. I mean, it's an interesting story. And he got signed by LFA, worked his way into the, you know, turned his life around, sober 3 years, so 4 years sober, 3 years out of the can. And he turned his life around and came back and had some momentum in the UFC, rattled off his first couple of wins. Then he dropped 2 straight, won his last fight. He's in against Brendan Allen. Now, I talked about Tom Breeze a couple of weeks ago. This Brendan Allen's got a win over Tom Breeze. Brendan Allen from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. He comes out of Rufus. He's 15-3. Look, I love Ian Heinisch, as you know, great story, you know, but at some point, you know, I gotta side with my money. And my money's gonna be on Brendan Allen in this fight. Brendan Allen's a favorite in this fight. He's a short favorite. Gosh, what is he? $1.85, I think. Anyways, Brendan Allen belongs to. He went all the way down to Pick'em. It was $1.55, $1.85. We got bet all the way down to Pick'em. To Pick'em now against Heinisch. I think Brendan Allen gets it done here. And you know what? If I have to go out on a limb and put a gun in my head, I say this fight goes under. Because I think Brendan Allen can finish him.
Well, there you have the UFC, and we will be back Saturday. We plan to, and if we're not, Joey's buddy the Tree will be out with a bunch of a rundown picks.
You can all get wood. Everybody, wood for everybody.
Oh my goodness!
The Tree apparently calls the Philly Godfather a lot too. Tree was 7-3 the last 2 weeks in the NFL, and he always brags about being pals with the legend, the Philly Godfather. So he calls him on apparently his Tree phone. Is that right?
Yeah, I give wood though. I don't get wood. And I mean, we gave that 3% burial. It was also included in the Woody's picks.
That's right.
We gave it on the Follow the Action YouTube channel. We gave it out on FT Action Show Twitter account, and Matty also cashed that 2% upgraded move on the Steelers. So it was a good week.
It was a great week, and the people who've watched our show are seriously on, as Joey would like to say, house money right now, because our guys have been winning. And then the guy that's been winning as well, 24-12-1. An incredible record. Coach, we're a day late. The golf tournament's already kicked off. If you don't kick off, I guess you tee off in golf. But it's down in the great state, down in Houston. What's going on, Coach?
Yeah, we got a lot to get to today. In fact, I was just taking notes on everything that Joey was telling us. And if you're going to get sober, why would you do it before you go into prison? Wouldn't you wait and get sober after you come out of prison? I don't know.
Well, that's what he said.
Don't get drunk in prison.
You said 4 years sober, 3 years out of the can. That's what you said.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's true. I get it.
Okay. All right. Anyway, we're gonna get.
That's all you got out of that, Coach. We got this.
That's what I got out of it.
Are you having prison flashbacks?
I'm writing down everything that he says, and that's what I wrote down. So yes. And I didn't realize, guys, because I know you always say that I like to make it about myself, and today I am, because I didn't realize how many people wait for my golf picks every single week until we don't put a show out on Wednesday, and all of a sudden my Twitter's just filled up. Where are the golf picks? Well, we put out 4 picks yesterday, and we got off to a really good start today. The only reason that we're not sitting 4-0 is because of a quadruple bogey, and as everybody knows, you can't plan for a quadruple bogey for any player. So we're up, we're doing well, but what we're going to do this week, because of when we're putting the show out, I'm going to put out 2 individual round picks on our FT Action Twitter handle Friday morning and also Saturday morning. But if people don't see them, here's what I want you to look at after watching the first day at the Houston Open. It's a brand new course. They haven't played a tournament here since 1963. These players struggled. Only one player shot over 4 under par. Everybody else is right at 3 under par. So I like Jason Day. I like Tyrrell Hatton, who really struggled today. He's going to come back tomorrow. I'll probably put him in a round pick, depending on what the odds are. And Victor Hovland and Scotty Scheffler. Those are 4 names that if you look on your book early Friday morning and you like the odds against who they are playing, play it. Because there are 4 names that are going to play really, really well come Friday on this course that proved very, very difficult. And also, I'll be updating people throughout the weekend and giving out at least 4 more picks Friday and Saturday as we head into my favorite week of the year. And we might have to do a little something extra next week, guys. The Masters.
Ooh, I like extra.
Playing in November.
Ooh.
Maybe a little bit extra next week. maybe a little bit extra next week.
The azaleas won't be in bloom. That's the only bad part. The azaleas won't be in bloom. The azaleas are still pretty on the Amen corner. I love the azaleas there. But it doesn't matter. That's Augusta, and it's the freaking Masters.
It's the only time that I've ever walked onto a course or a property anywhere in my life, and it brought me to tears. I got to call highlights for 3 different years at the Masters for the digital service, and it's amazing if you ever get to go there in person. It is better than on TV. It's amazing. So a lot of the players this week, like Dustin Johnson, like these other big names, they're already looking ahead. Phil Mickelson shot a 76 today, 77 today, because a lot of these players are just playing to get warm. They're not playing to win. So you can win a lot of money this weekend if you pay attention to us, pay attention to me, pay attention to the show.
And Coach, just a reminder for all those listening out there, that's going to be on the FT Action. Twitter will be the update on the 2 picks tomorrow, 2 picks, which is Friday for time reference, because depends on when you listen to this, and 2 picks on Saturday.
100%, early Friday morning and early on Saturday morning. But I tell you this much, I can guarantee you that will be done. But Johnny, with the election that we have going on right now, we don't even have a president yet. How is that going to affect the financials, the stock markets, all that kind of stuff that you love to talk about every single week?
This is the craziest thing, Coach, I've ever seen. I go to bed you had on the sports books, you had Trump at -750. I wake up and Biden is -450. I've never seen anything like this. It keeps going back and forth, and now you got all kinds of allegations of everything you can imagine going on. But as far as the market, it's very clear. So last week, the market was down, one of the worst weeks it's had in months. And the reason was because it looked like you're going to have a Democratic sweep. So since 1933, the best thing for the stock market has been a balance of power. It's what our forefathers looked at when they put the country together and realized the balance of power is better because you don't have one party lording over the other. Now, occasionally we do have that, but you want to have some type of balance as far as the market is going, as far as either a Democratic in one of the 3 branches, either the president, the House, or the Senate. The market has returned about 9.5% since 1933 when you have a balance of power. It can go down significantly if you have a clean sweep. Well, what happened on Monday was it looked like the Republicans were going to hold on to the Senate, which it still looks like something crazy could happen. This is 2020 after all, but the Republicans are going to hold on to the Senate, it looks like. And it looks like Biden's going to win the presidency, but it could be President Trump retaining the presidency. Don't know for sure. But what matters is there is a balance of power. And because you have a balance of power, nothing crazy can happen. And that's what the market's going on. So next week, I'm going to give a list of stocks on whoever ends up being president. Those stocks will favor. But for now, hold your money because it's probably going to be decided in the next day. But here's what's the most important thing to know. You're not going to have huge tax increases coming from the Democrats. You're not going to have a Green New Deal coming from the Democrats. That's very important to the economy and to the stock market. You're going to be able to keep the good things from the Trump administration, the tax cuts and the cut and regulation, because the Republican Senate won't let anything else happen. The bad things, at least as far as the market's concerned, not as far as being political in any way, the tariffs and the trade wars will probably end. The good things from Biden will probably happen if Biden gets elected. That is electric infrastructure of 500,000 EV charging stations around the country, some DC wires, not AC, going from remote areas of solar and wind power, taking those to metropolitan areas. So you'll have a boom there. Caterpillar will do well. Lithium and cobalt miners will do well. EV stocks will do incredibly well. Solar will do incredibly well. But that's to be decided. Depends on who's president. The good thing is the good things that are here will probably stay, will stay. The bad things will not happen. And that's why the market is up so much right now, because we have a balance of power. And that is the best thing for our country when you take out the fact that these capricious politicians in DC can really screw up the country if they're allowed to do so. That's taken out of the equation. So that's the market right now. Something that's a lot more fun is the National Football League. And
let's go.
Coach, we fire.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
And we fire. And we fire. We fire because the college kids and the legend, the Philly Godfather, firing out of the city of brotherly love. Let's start off with the college kids, the future of sports betting. He has been called, and he is Matt. Matt, what do you got for us this week?
Yeah, we got the over in Buffalo-Seattle game. We're looking at these 2 teams. They have 2 of the worst pass defenses in terms of efficiency. We're looking at Seattle. They're 30th. Buffalo, they're top 10 worst pass defense in the league. We're looking at pass offenses. They're both top 5 in pass offensive efficiency. So I think these two teams are going to battle it out. Josh Allen on one side, we've seen what he's done this year with that offense. They've been going north, exploding. And then we have Russell Wilson on the other side. He could possibly be the MVP this year. It's going to be a battle. We love the over here.
Love the over in that game.
Real quick, did you guys see this week the story that Russell Wilson spends over $1 million a year on his body?
It's like LeBron James.
Yeah, just like LeBron James. I thought it was a fascinating story. And 2 chefs, trainer, massage, they all travel with him. Can you imagine watching Russell Wilson walk through the airport with 10 people walking behind him?
I spent over $1 million a year on bodies, Coach, but it wasn't mine.
Joey, how much you spend on your body every year?
I know.
Question.
How much?
I spend about $200 on this neck right here.
Oh, I don't have my chain on. It almost worked.
That
I
damn
reached my
Chick-fil-A
goal.
spicy sandwich is pretty damn good, man.
You're damn right. Chick-fil-A, give it to me.
You're right, man. I'm an eater.
Even Popeyes. I mean, they both got some delicious chicken sandwiches.
Joey
they
Bagels, Joey Chestnut, saying,
Same.
Well, let's get to the main event, and that is, as it should be, the Philly Godfather. Philly Godfather, enlighten us. 64.8% last year in the NFL. He's been killing it again this year. Philly Godfather, what do you got for us this week?
Yeah, let's go to game 457, 458 on your screen. But before I do, I just hope everybody capitalized last week on that 3% burial that we gave out on our YouTube channel. Follow the action. We gave out the Vikings +7 in Lambeau Field. Everybody thought I was nuts. And guess what? They won the game outright. So just remember, anytime I give out a burial, I really feel like I got a huge game, edge on the game. And as it turned out last week, I was 100% accurate with that, the Vikings winning outright. But let's move on to this week's match.
Wait. Before you move on, I want to point out also you had +200 on Vikings money line the first half. And if they review that 4th down call, that bet cashes. That was a bad call. It ended up being a push, so nobody won, nobody lost. But you hit a +200 that we should have won based upon the fact they should have reviewed that call.
Yeah, absolutely. And I actually bet them first half and full game money line. I was a little worried about the money line full game because of Aaron Rodgers. That's why I didn't give it out to everybody. I always try and give you guys gold, the best of the best. And as it's been, with the videos that we've been giving out, we've been on fire. I think I've won 12 straight football moves, 7 in the NFL, 5 in college football. But let's get to this week's game. I actually laid 2 on this on the Vikings here before the line moved. Now it's up to 4. But anytime that line crosses over that key number 3, it gets a little tight, gets a little shady. But if Stafford doesn't play, if he's ruled out because of COVID, then I don't think you have a problem laying that number, that price on the Vikings -4. I also bet the under 55, 54, 53, and 52.5. I think you can still grab 52.5 on this game. If you just look at who's banged up, you got Trey Flowers, Detroit's best defensive lineman. You got Galladay. And like I said, if Stafford doesn't play because of the COVID, I mean, you got to love the fact that Chase Daniels probably ain't going to do much, on the field. Then you add the fact that Detroit's probably going to go to a much shorter game plan on offense, little dinks and dunks, because their offensive linemen are banged up from last week. Decker, Vaitai, and Dahl, they all had limited practice, or they didn't practice at all this week. So I like Minnesota here. I like the under. This is a very undervalued 2-5 Vikings team. They lost to the Titans by a point, Seattle by a point, and they beat a real good Packers team. So moving forward, this team, I think, is going to have a lot of value. And if you pick your spots, you can make some money with this Minnesota Vikings team.
How unlucky right now is Clemson? We're just talking about, you mentioned COVID a couple times, and we have, because you have to factor COVID into almost every single line. Now you've got the best college football player in the country, at least by most regards, and he's the only player that tested positive for COVID in all of Clemson. How unlucky is Dabo Swinney right now? They got Notre Dame this week.
Yeah, and you saw how the market reacted. I think that line dropped 7 points as soon as he was ruled out. And he, in my opinion, I think he's worth about 10 points to the spread. And you saw how everything transpired on the field. Notre Dame's going to be a tough game. I mean, as of right now, Clemson's definitely the right side, even laying that price. But it should be a good matchup.
Well,
You know,
guys,
I
there you
feel,
have
I
it.
feel,
Go
I feel
ahead,
like I
Coach.
need to jump in real quick because I'm getting a lot of people on my Twitter when they're talking about Godfather's 3% burials. And normally I don't like to put my business out there, but I'm going to because I'm sick and tired of people that are questioning the Godfather when he puts out burials. And then they try to get me to jump on it with them and say, you don't really play those burials. And I said, now I've admitted on the show before that I haven't. But last week when I got up and I looked at Minnesota, I actually talked to myself in the mirror. And I said, if you one more time don't go
In
with
the
the
mirror.
Godfather, you are going to absolutely not only get crushed on the show, but just get crushed in life. And so I placed that bet. I placed the Miami bet, which I did not want to do. Miami, I couldn't believe he gave that one out. That was crazy. And that one, they won by 11 over the Rams. So for anybody listening that's questioning these burials or questioning these guys, stop it. Stop texting me, stop tweeting me, and just fire. I'm tired of it.
Well,
Go,
let
JBL.
me tell you something I learned in this business. Joey's been around a long time. He knows it as well. The hardest bet to make sometimes is the one that cashes the easiest. I mean, it's hard taking the Jets plus 300 on the money line in the first half against a great Buffalo team. It's hard taking the Vikings in Lambeau Field against Aaron Rodgers, and they win outright. But we've done a lot of research on these games, the matchups, the injury reports, the weather. And when all the boxes, we check off all the boxes and the moons align, that's when we fire.
I love it. I love it.
If we had a time machine right now, we had a flux capacitor that we somehow stole, that we went back in time, Philly Godfather, I think we'd find out that Coach bet on Liston in 63.
Yeah, he probably bet on Tyson at 42-1 against Douglas. We were on the other side.
And he decided to pull the trigger when he was looking in the mirror.
Hey, real quick, because you guys continue to bust my balls about KBO several months ago when I didn't get the bets in Korean baseball.
What
So
were you
real
doing,
quick,
Coach? What were you doing, Coach? Why didn't you get your bets in?
It's
I
in
was
the
bu-
mirror.
I was busy. Yeah, I
Big girl. Big
was
girl.
busy in the mirror. I will say this, that on whatever night it was, Tuesday, they're in the playoffs now. I'm so addicted to Korean baseball. I bet the Doosan Bears minus 1.5 on the run line. They were up 8-0 in the 5th inning. LG Twins come back, cut it to 8-7. They scored a run in the 9th inning on a sacrifice bunt with a runner at first. And that's how I covered the spread. One of the great bad beats of all time that went my way. And I feel like I got vindicated because all you clowns who have been clowning on me for 5 months, I got it back. Even though I only celebrated with myself.
Coach, just win, baby.
Sorry, 6
Just win.
months.
Just win. And just listen, just do me a favor.
Yeah.
Make sure Dalvin Cook doesn't break his leg this week because you're bet by game. That's all I'm saying.
Coach, you have been on fire, though.
Let's go. We have been having fun.
There you have it, guys. Be sure and catch up with our YouTube channel. There's all kinds of exclusive content on it. Our Twitter account, our Facebook, our Instagram, all kinds of exclusive and content that you're not going to get anywhere else. All kinds of free picks, access to the very best in the business, which are the ones that are surrounding me right now in this screen that looks like some version of the Brady Bunch, a little bit older, I might say, except for Matt, of course, who is the one that represents the younger, better-looking generation. There you have it. Follow the action. Have a great week. Good luck.